Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm getting some LTC Litecoin requests, so I thought I would kind of show what I'm looking at. Um, I'm just using an initial look using the ADX, using the RSI, using some trend line breaks, some moving average breaks, those kind of things. Uh, I like what I'm seeing. I'm calling it kind of like a pressure cooker up against resistance, and I'm hoping that measuring this out right, and if we can get basically right around this area, this is a daily chart, like going against the dollar. This is the 55 exponential right here that prices are pushing up against. There's a bearish trend line that we're also pushing up against. One thing I liked was this latest candle, wicking down, but finding buying interest off of it to get it going, and kind of putting that pressure against that resistance. Internally, the ADX is just starting to increase, working its way up to the 20 level on the daily. Now, when you look at the lower time frames, let me see if I pull one up here. Just look at the 12-hour. You see the momentum on the ADX here. It's kind of consolidating in this point, but the overall area on the ADX is bullish. Um, Go to the 8-hour, bullish. It's just that the lower time frames are the ones that are showing uh, some momentum, but now the daily's just starting to turn around right when resistance is getting pressured. So I'm hoping that we can see a breakout to the upside. Another thing with the RSI has pumped. Right now, this lower area down here was the bearish zone as we were coming down. Prices are coming up against that trend line, but the trend line on the RSI broke to show some buying interest. Yeah, we could dip down a little bit, and we did a little bit off of this wick, but I think we can get some buying interest and hopefully bust through here to the upside. Now, what I've looked at, I don't have the Elliott wave marked on here, but I have the arrows marked on where the start of waves are. Um, and if you throw in some fibs here, uh, you know, I put an arrow right here because this is an area consolidation, but it's this leg right here that I'm looking at off of this breakout of this area of consolidation. So let me put on the magnet so we can get it just right. Get the high right here at this leg and work its way down to this point. I'm going to rough it in. It's about 76.80, but let me pull it out here so you can see the numbers. Uh, if you start on the high right at this point and work it down to the low 76 or so, it worked up right to this point, which is the 61.8% level of 106.90 right here. Kind of came down, came back up, tested again as support. And as you can see down here, the RSI was keeping us in the bearishness. So that's telling you that it should hold. And of course, the bulls were trying to get some momentum, but it didn't happen. So that's why we broke to the downside, but holding the 61.8% level to keep this trend going lower. The next leg down, there was a break here, but there was a little bit of a throwback to or a pullback back to the trend line here. So after it broke out of this sort of triangle pattern here, I put an arrow right here because let me get some of these fib lines out of here because it'll get kind of crowded. If you take another fib action here off of this leg, this is the leg I want to look at now, based on this being one and then two and then working its way down. This is the second level. So if you take that high and down to the low, um, which was around 62.05, let me pull this out just a little bit. I'm just roughing it here. So if you bring this up, this is right at the 61.8% level of 80.24. The 55 exponential moving average is at 78.21. The market is at 76.95, kind of putting some pressure against this resistance. What I would like to see is a break of this 80.24 to the upside, break of this trend line. Actually, if this pressure starts to break, you're going to find a lot of stops or buy stops on the way onto the upside here, which I think can be a springboard toward. I said $100. I'm just kind of rounding numbers to where if we can break out of here, I think we can get back up to 100. Uh, the minimum would be a full retracement of the 61.8% level would be 91.25, which is that leg right there. But one thing I'd like to look at is if we do break this trend line, I would just like to see the movement from this high to this low. So if we bring in a fib here, just off the leg of the trend line here, and you pull this out, uh, uh, a breakout of here would put us above the 61.8% level of just this leg, just the whole leg, not just the wave. And this whole leg puts us in full retracement of 94.79, which relatively close to 100. But I was just kind of eyeballing it when I threw out that thing on Twitter that people were asking about. Well, what do you mean it's going to 100? Well, I'd like to see it break out of here. I like the way it's setting itself up. So anything on a dip right here, I think we get some buying interest and pump through here. So my call is a break of this trend out to the upside over the next couple of days, hopefully in the next couple of hours, which would be really nice. And then we can see it kind of rally up and hopefully get past this 82, which I think there'll be enough stops to push it through there to where this we can have a support and resistance flip at this 82 level, push us up to where we find buying interest at 82 instead of selling, and then push us up to the previous high. Oh, I take that back. What was I saying? I had this messed up. Pull that back. That's the high I was talking about. Because I had the magnet on the wrong spot. The the 38.2% level is the one to watch, and that's the one we're kind of pressing against, which is also the 61.8% of the other leg I was looking at. And I wanted it to break here because if it doesn't break, a shallow fib like this would bring us down lower. But I like the way the internals are setting up to push us through here. 89, 85 would be the area, but I think, like I said before, if we look at this leg here and it breaks through, let me get it to the right spot, and it breaks the 61.8% to the upside and hits enough stops, I think it'll push us up far enough to where it would push us above the 61.8% of this level, and then that brings in a full retracement of 107. Or if you take off these wicks right here, you're looking at right around 100, and that's where I got that number of where it could possibly be breaking out right at this point to go up to 100. So I'm going to be conservative. And this is not financial advice. This is just what I'm doing on Litecoin. And if it works with what you're looking at, you make your own decisions. But I'm going to be one of those people that are going to be on a buy stop if this thing gets up to 81 or so. I'm gonna be buying it, and then hopefully springboard it up uh, into basically the 90 area. If it drops back down, I'll probably buy some more on a throwback to the 81 when I first buy. Dollar cost average that up into 100. So that's where I'm getting my $100 on Litecoin. Let's see if the pressure cooker explodes. All right, peace out. Happy trading.